Hey, Wingblaze here for EGN Productions, and I'm here to talk Deus Ex, storytelling, technology, and the Singularity. So Deus Ex, Human Revolution, takes place in 2027 and centers around the rise of human augmentation and sort of the moral and political battles that surround it. So there's multiple groups battling over the future of this technology. There's sort of a pro-augmentation side and an anti-aug side, and as you play through the game and investigate the conspiracy, you'll uncover more and more about the world that the game takes place in and the kinds of choices the leaders of both of these groups have made. And at the end, you get to make a critical choice that will affect the future of the world and give you one of 4 different endings. There were a few things I really loved about Deus Ex, and one of them was that the game never judged you. You know, unlike other games like Mass Effect or Infamous, and I enjoy those games too, but, you know, unlike those games, it didn't have like a good or evil karmic system. It just asked you to determine for yourself how you felt about the morality of the way biotechnology was being used and to make decisions accordingly. No matter what path you took, they all led to success, and the game never, preached its message to you. And I think that's a very mature level of storytelling, just to represent consequences without moral judgment. And, you know, I'm also just really impressed by how it handled and portrayed issues relevant to our society, or maybe issues that will be relevant to our society, but aren't yet. Because one of the interesting things about science fiction is how swiftly sci-fi becomes sci-fact. In fact, in the game there exists something called the Casey-aug, and the Casey-aug stood for Computer-Assisted Social Interaction Enhancer. And it sort of works by, gauging people's facial expressions and sort of biological, body posture, biological rhythms, things like that to determine how they were feeling. Just recently, a company came out with an app for Google Glass that does the same thing pretty much. It, determines how people are feeling based off of their facial expressions. So that's just one example, but the fact remains that although Deus Ex is sci-fi, the issues it grapples with may soon be ones we'll have to struggle with in the real world. Now, according to people like futurist Ray Kurzweil, a singularity is approaching, where people will begin to upgrade themselves with biomechanical augmentation, nanotechnology, and exist alongside AI. Now, how is this possible? Well, understand that technology essentially grows exponentially. It basically doubles every year. What used to take up a whole room in a building, back in the 50s and 60s, now fits inside your pocket. And what fits in your pocket today will fit inside your blood cells in 25 years. And one thing we'll be able to do with this technology is have millions of nanobots which will exist inside our bloodstream. They'll sort of keep us healthy from the inside. They'll interface with our brains and interact with our neurons, just sort of like neural implants do today. They'll make us smarter, allow us to hook up to the internet, which is to say put our brains online. They'll provide virtual reality from sort of within our own body without the need for external devices. So we'll become this hybrid of endogenous and exogenous, that is to say natural and artificial intelligence. And theoretically, over time, the non-biological portions of our intelligence will come to outperform our own biological intelligence. And that's what's meant by the singularity. Hypothetically, around 2045, we'll basically have exponentially grown the overall intelligence of the human race to a previously unimaginable level, thousands, millions of times greater than it is now. And that's such an amazing dramatic transformation that it's referred to as a singularity. So that's the premise behind the world of Deus Ex. And out of all the endings you can pick, David Seraph's ending takes the side of the singularity, the pro-augmentation side. And for what it's worth, this was the ending I chose as well. And it's interesting because a few years ago I probably would have agonized over what ending to pick, but nowadays I think I'd choose Seraph's ending pretty much without hesitation. And I do that because I think the dream of the Singularity generally points to a better future for humanity. Imagine a world where the average person is smarter, stronger, more healthy, lives a longer life than ever before. Imagine blind people being able to see again, being able to 3D print out organs for transplant, being able to install synthetic muscle upgrades for muscular dystrophy, or just for having muscles that don't break down. And some people will disagree with this. Some people will say it makes us lose our humanity, but does anyone have an exact definition of what it means to be human? If this is about using perceived artificial tools, we're one of the only species that we know of that actually extends our reach with tools. That's been true ever since we first used a stick to reach a higher branch, or used a rock to crack open a shell. As Jensen himself says, we were cold, so we made fire. We were weak, so we invented tools. We're already a combination human-machine civilization. Our tools are part of who we are. We are, as Andy Clark said, natural-born cyborgs. And furthermore, if we're going to say that someone's no longer human because they have non-biological parts in them, where do you draw the line for that? Is someone with a pacemaker not human? What about an artificial leg? How about someone with a neurological implant? 2 neurological implants? If you have some nanobots in your blood, are you no longer human? What about 350 million nanobots? Should we say that at 600 million nanobots, under that you're still human, and over that line you're post-human? You can't really draw a clear line in the sand in regards to the concept of human and post-human. Again, does anyone have an exact perfect definition of what it means to be human? Is it that we're made of flesh and bone? Or that we only live for a certain amount of time? Or that we are vulnerable to disease and illness? Or is being human about something else? Is it about doing what humans have always done and using our tools and technology to improve our lives? Is it about thinking in new ways, exploring the unknown? Is it about having connections with others, loving people, making meaningful relationships? That's what I believe. I believe that as long as we have existed, we've used our tools and technology to better ourselves. And as long as we can still do those things while making connections with others, then we're still human. Now, I'm not saying the future will be perfect. Evidently, there will be problems we will have to address. Privacy, security concerns, freedom for access to this technology between class divisions, that kind of stuff. But, every new technology brings new problems and new benefits. The key is that we maximize the benefits while minimizing the problems. And it makes no sense to just restrict access to a technology like this that could benefit everyone just because some people might misuse it. Throughout human history, the rise of various technologies have allowed people to live longer, happier, healthier, richer, and more connected lives all over the world. If this continues into the future, then from where I'm sitting, the future looks pretty good. And the technology seen in Deus Ex will take us there. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
But what if we never need to feel weak or morally conflicted again? What if the path Sarif wants us to take enables us to hold on to higher values with more stability? One thing is obvious. For the first time in history, we have a chance to steal fire from the gods. To turn away from it now, to stop pursuing a future in which technology and biology combine, leading to the promise of a singularity, would mean to deny the very essence of who we are. No doubt the road to get there will be bumpy, hurting some people along the way. But won't achieving the dream be worth it? We can become the gods we've always been striving to be. We might as well get good at it.